What's up, everybody? Welcome to Members Only, the EverWash podcast. We're here for episode 2 of our monthly conversation about membership growth and what actually works in the car wash industry. On today's episode, we're introducing a few new segments of the show, including our Data Drip segment with EverWash data analyst Jane Lee, and the debut of At the Wash with Sean Pashley. We'll also talk about some major updates coming to the EverWash Attendant app that are going to be rolled out shortly, and dig into why family plans are one of the most underutilized levers in a membership program. We're also going to catch up with one of our wash partners, Russ Picard from Executive Auto Wash in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. Love saying Woonsocket. If you like what you hear, make sure you like and subscribe, follow wherever you get your podcasts. And without further ado, here's episode 2 of Members Only. Hey everybody, welcome to Members Only, the EverWash podcast. I'm your host, Max Pulcini, joined by my co-host over here, Chris Villella. How are we doing today, Chris?
Good, Max. How you doing today? Looking forward to episode 2.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, well, episode 2, we're here with our new podcast. Hopefully you were here for episode 1. To catch anybody up who missed episode 1, this is a show that's dedicated to car wash memberships, growing our car wash memberships, growing our business, growing our revenue, and extracting real stories from the industry to help us get there. We have some awesome programming set aside for us today, some new segments, Data Drips with Jane Lee. We have At the Car Wash with Sean Pashley. A lot of exciting conversations coming up, but in the meantime, what's new with you, Chris?
Just keeping at it, getting ready for SWCA with the team next week. Looking forward to Sean in studio. He'll be a frequent guest, whether it's at the remote or at the wash or here. Really excited to have him here. Sean's been a big help to me since I started, and Jane's a rock star. As you know, I have nothing but respect. The data she's going to bring to this show will really help some of our current partners and anyone who has questions. So that's what we're here to. We're here to talk about car wash membership.
Awesome. Yeah, just excited to bring some more faces from the EverWash family onto the show. And in Russ's case, some of our wash partners. Russ is one of our longest standing wash operators on the EverWash platform. He's going to share some really great insights from the perspective of a mature membership program, especially one that's mature on the EverWash platform specifically. Just want to point out we are sitting in different spots.
Yes, we are.
Chris is a lefty.
I am a lefty. So last month, even though I got some solid feedback from you and the gang, and not so solid feedback from social media, but we're trying my good side this
month. How'd your family take to you being a podcaster? I know I cut some bloopers for you to share internally, not for the outside world to see, but
I was a little worried with my daughter in the wedding talk because she's in that pressure point right now. Mm-hmm. She loved it, so anything's on the table now. I just didn't want to upset her, but she's like, do what you have to do, Dad. And they're jealous that their dad's a podcaster now. So
it is pretty cool. And, to that point, we have some new segments we're going to intro on today's show. We have some of our standard segments. Obviously, we're going to do our Wash Wire news and our suds and stuff odds and ends. I think we might need to officially do Chris wedding updates as another, standing segment.
We can throw that in at the end. Yeah.
Right on.
We wrap up in suds and stuff, but it's been a pretty boring month. It's as you know, we're in that lull period a little bit. So I'll get into some more detail later.
It's a lot of stop and go, rather. So cool. Well, without further ado, like I said, we got an awesome show lined up today for you all. So keep it locked here. We're going to kick things off with our Wash Wire. So stay tuned for more from Members Only, the EverWash podcast. All right, we're back with Members Only, the EverWash podcast. Let's get into this week's Wash Wire. For this segment, we got Sean Pashley with us. Sean works directly with operators every single day as our VP of Partner Success, and he's the closest to the feedback loop of what we're about to talk about today in our Wash Wire segment. We're going to chat more with Sean a little bit about what he's seeing on site with our At the Wash segment, but at first I wanted to bring Sean out to talk about today's news. Sean, how you doing?
Great, man. Great. It's good to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
You're welcome. Great to have you.
Absolutely. So Let's get into it. One of the biggest identifiers of success at a car wash membership program is execution at the wash by the attendants, right? It all starts with them. So what we've been working at over at EverWash is an update for the attendant app where we're going to try to make this even easier for attendants to sell memberships and do win backs and upsells, all sorts of things, right, Sean? So in light of this update, I wanted to bring Sean, who's been out in the field actually testing this product, this new update, and I want to hear what your perspective is on why this is a game changer for our attendants and wash operators and anyone on the EverWash platform as a whole. So, Sean, why don't you kind of give us a rundown of what's in the update and why it's so important?
Yeah, I think it's a great update. I think it's a big change. There's only a couple rub points, right? And there's only a couple of impediments to making money, and that's things like adding an additional vehicle, right? Now it's kind of Blue's Clues-ish. You have to help them go back through and find the app and re-log in to re-sign up, and adding on an additional vehicle. That's sort of something that we use as an upsell now, and we just sort of tell them as they're going away, like, hey, don't forget, you can add on an additional vehicle, add the husband or wife's car on. Now attendants can do that in the app, again, and make more money out of it, right? So it's a way for less friction, less roadblocks to get to where you need to go. And really, we talk about the app being everything that a member needs all in one place. Mm-hmm. It's a lot more focused now on everything the attendant needs. Place. Smaller things like being able to, the sticky referral code so you don't have to keep hitting your name after you hit the sign up button, that sort of thing.
Right. That's awesome. So, let's talk about that a little bit more. When you're on site and you're launching a membership program or you're at a site that maybe launched a little while and you're doing a little bit of a maintenance visit, right? How often do you see a current member like actually show up, and what's the current conversation like prior to this app rolling out? Like, what kind of a conversation happens? You thank them for being a member, you let them through. There's no real upsell opportunity, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, I've always told people before this, when you greet a member, sometimes attendants will say to me, hey, I wish I knew who wasn't a member so I could pitch them. No, you want to thank every member. And I always say, you don't want to ask them if they like the app. I ask every member, hey, thank you so much for being a member. I say things like, thanks for signing my paycheck, or do you love the app? And I'm 6'2" and kind of a big guy, so they generally say they do love it. I've never heard anyone say no. But that's the first thing we want, is we want to know they're a member. We want to thank them for their loyalty and paying the bills. But then I always say, you give them one of two things. Hey, did you know you can add vehicles on at a discount? Or, hey, did you know that you can invite a friend and they can, if they sign up, they get half off, you get a $5 credit. Right. So now, obviously, it's a much easier path to do that. And then, things like if somebody already has a membership, to re-sign them up, like I said, it's very much like, oh, do you remember that you had an app? Oh, it was a different car wash. Yeah, but you remember the EverWash name? It was probably that app.
Like a win-back kind of opportunity, right? An expired member shows up, you're talking to them, you've identified they're a former member, and now we can just sign them back up right there on the spot.
Yeah, and if they've had a couple of different accounts, you can go through and just, is this your vehicle? Oh, there it is. Great, you're right here. So all that confusion that we went through and that holdup, that took a couple minutes, in the current version of the app. As we move into this new version, it's really that Johnny on the spot, get what you need real quick and move on to the next member.
That's awesome. I know that a lot of the basis of this update was kind of pulled in from operator feedback. Chris, I know you talked to a lot of operators as well. What were some of the pain points that were expressed to you? And I'm not just talking about things with the old version of the app, but just, running a membership program in general. What are some of the pain points you've heard, and how does this update address some of those?
Well, I think it addresses a lot of I don't want to say lack of functionality, but the opportunity of functionality. Where Sean mentioned what he was selling at the wash, or what you were doing with current members, was hope. You were selling hope, hoping they would go through the wash and sign one of their family members up, or add an additional vehicle, or invite a friend. That eliminates all this. So I'm excited to see what happens right there at the point of sale. There's so many benefits: re-signing up a member, adding the family plan, but just the overall functionality, I think, we say customer experience. When you think customer experience, you're thinking the member.
Right.
But our direct customer is the car wash and their employees. So I think this is going to be a big improvement on the customer experience. And people don't know, Sean, and we kind of didn't get into it. And if I'm jumping ahead, Max, Sean spent a lot of time in the field, even at our wash, EverWash Unlimited. So this is years and years of firsthand knowledge training, putting attendance on, getting practical experiences running the attendance. So that's why I was excited to have Sean. That's why I'm excited about At the Wash segment, because no one lives it like you, but making that point of sale, taking that hope away into a definitive answer right there, I think will bring tremendous benefit.
Yeah, I think that the thing I'm most proud of about EverWash is we are always going forward. We're always, if you look at the app 7-8 years ago when I got here, the app is very different now. We listen to what our customers and members say, and we react. And I'm very proud of the way we do that. And here's just another example of that.
Yeah. And Sean, I think the proof is in the pudding right now. We've done some extensive testing at EverWash Unlimited. Like Chris said, one of the washes that Scott Kaplan, our founder and CEO, owns. So it's become a bit of our test kitchen, right? And we were just talking this morning, one of your rock star attendants, Donovan, sold 54 memberships
58.
in 58, in a single day using this new attendant app.
Yeah, and we're at like 80% membership. So he sold over 90% conversion on Saturday. It was ludicrous. So it is, again, if first thing we see fall off from attendants that have friction in the beginning, right? So this helps eliminate that, right? Figure you're signing people up, you have your first busy day and you have a rough experience, right? This eliminates that. And then someone experienced can take this new version of the app and really kick some butt.
Yeah. And like I kind of said at the top, a big identifier of membership success at the car wash is attendant engagement. And when you're setting them up for success really well from the jump, it creates that confidence, and it just makes that whole pitch process so much easier, right?
Yep.
Sean, I know you do a lot of talking on pitching, right? How has the pitch changed with the new attendant app? Any changes in how you're kind of training the attendants to use it?
No, I think that the pitch remains the same. It's about, finding out what kind of wash someone wants, who they are. And then I always say it's a bridge, right? We know that customers are happier when they become members. We know that their vehicle's better taken care of. We know they're happier. We just need to get them across the bridge. So I think we've got the pitch and our pitch training to a point where if we could just walk that person across the bridge, we know they're going to be happier and their investment's going to be better taken care of.
You mentioned friction, and I want to circle back to that. So as you're at the washes, as you're training the staffs, and even our own staff, what's the pain point? What is that major point of friction that you always experience?
In signing people up?
Yeah,
I guess it's just, there are several, but I think that it's really about balancing the amount of business that you're dealing with at peaks. That's the time when we see the biggest drop off in conversion rates, when it should really be the highest. So I think the biggest thing is using these things like these app updates to incorporate this more into your day, become more natural at it, understand there are going to be some curveballs no matter how good the app is. So being trained well enough and having the reps in and getting over them. There may be a time or two in your life on membership where you might need to call the support center to get some extra help, or go back post day and ask some questions. And it's really about learning and growing and being able to dodge some of those curveballs that I think helps the best.
Is that what the operators tell you, or do you hear that directly from the attendants?
Both, but directly from the attendants. I think that our unique line to thousands of attendants in the field really gives us so much great information.
Yeah. And Sean, I guess, to again focus on the attendance a little bit, like, what's like one of the best attendant success stories you've seen? Like someone who maybe started, just scrubbing wheels, and now they're a rock star salesman, bringing in, hundreds of dollars of commissions.
We didn't talk about this question before or anything, but I always use a parable. I use a bunch of them in my training, but one is, I'll have an owner say, my guy doesn't understand technology that much. He's a little bit older. And I say, it's okay. I was once cursed out by a woman in 2 languages, right? I went to a car wash, I won't name, in North Jersey. They've been awesome. They recently sold to great new owners. And this woman had been working there for like 30 plus years. And she did not want to do membership. We know people are resistant to change, right? But she did not want to. And she was very verbal about that. The owner was like, you've got to do membership. She was like, I hate this. And she told me in Spanish, I think Portuguese actually, and in English, how much she disliked it. But part of the launch process is getting to know these attendants, getting them to understand that it's not really that difficult if they just give it a try. And 6 months later, she sold over 600 memberships. And the way I got to her was talking about her grandkid. And I told her when I was a kid, I always wanted a Power Wheel. And she sent me a few months in a picture of the Barbie Power Wheel that she had bought her granddaughter.
That's
So
awesome.
her buy-in and her reason, and I think that's a great story for owners. What are your employees' reasons for doing this? What could that extra couple thousand a year do for them? And what could that help them do for themselves or their family? So I think it's a cool story in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that's huge, and we're obviously to get more into storytelling with you at your segment at the Wash. That's the kind of stuff we're looking really forward to month after month from you. But yeah, really fantastic stuff, and yeah, let this be kind of a lesson to any wash operators who are listening today. Empower your attendants. They are the engine that really runs the membership program when you're not there, on site, when you're taking care of other things in the back office. So again, this app is being updated to really support those attendants and give them the power they need to own the conversation and set up them for as much success as possible. Anything you guys wanted to add before we kind of move on to our next segment?
Let's go to the Wash.
All right, right on. So we'll share more details about this app update as we roll out this to more of our partners. Like we kind of said, we're testing this on site right now. We're getting everything perfected, but stay tuned for more news on that front. And of course, stay tuned for more of Members Only, the EverWash podcast. We'll be right back with At the Wash with Sean Pashley. Thanks again. All right, we're back with Members Only, the EverWash podcast, here with episode 2 of our show. Another significant milestone. I feel like every episode is going to feel like a significant milestone in the very beginning. But a truly significant milestone. It's our first new segment of the show, right? So here we are with At the Wash with Sean Pashley. Again, we have Sean with us here in studio today. Sean spends more time at a car wash with operators, with attendants than anybody I know. He's always in the field selling, training, tweaking, optimizing, trying to think of all the verbs I can possibly think of related to what you do at the car wash. But you do so much for us, Sean. So again, appreciate you being here. Appreciate all you do. You really do have a fascinating story though, of how we got to car washing. You have one of the most eclectic pasts I know. You've been an employee for Disney. You've been on reality television. You've been a restaurateur in Philadelphia. You used to own one of my favorite bars in Old City, Eulogy. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
So Sean, give us a little bit of your background, how you've become the membership guy here at EverWash and in the industry, and what led you to where we are today.
Yeah. So it's an interesting story. I've had a fun go of it. I've been very lucky and blessed. But I've been in the restaurant industry. Had been in the restaurant industry, so about 15 years old. Started as a busboy at Steak and Ale, and went to culinary school in Philly, and was very lucky in that realm. And then you get to a point where you sort of grow out of that. And I was at a very difficult point in my life where I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. After wanting to change a career that it was all I knew as a chef and operator. And my brother was, Scott was early on, the other Scott was early on in helping with create EverWash. And he came aboard very early on. I think we had 50 or so car washes on the platform at that point. And he asked me to join, and I jumped at the opportunity to make a change. And it's been amazing. I love this industry. To me, it checks all the boxes. My biggest, after I stopped being an active chef in the industry, started being a regional manager, a regional VP, I really focused on development my entire career. And this allows me to do that very same thing. And I think that restaurant operators and car wash operators are very, very similar in the fact that they want to be where the action is. They don't, if it's busy, they don't want to be counting P's. They want to be out where the action is. And I still get to provide all that same service. It's a hospitality business we're in. I think we lose sight of that sometimes, but it's hospitality. We're not selling hamburgers. We're selling car washes. but it's still all about hospitality and taking care of people and developing human beings to achieve their maximum potential.
Do you miss cooking?
No, I cook at home. I have toddlers. I have 2 toddlers, and I cook when I'm not traveling. I cook every day that I'm home, and it's so much more cathartic now. It's like a lot more fun.
It's not a job.
Under the gun. You're right. It got to be. There were years where I just didn't cook at all. I was too burnt out. Now I really like it.
So you joined the team back in 2019, I believe. 2018.
2019. Yeah, early in 2019. Next month it'll be my 7th year, right? 7th year. Yeah, 7th year with the team.
Time flies when you're selling membership, huh?
It does. I think the longest, and I always called myself the Don Baylor of the restaurant industry, which a lot of people won't get. Don Baylor was an early in the baseball free agency where if you paid him $1 more, he'd come play for your team. Mm-hmm. And that's sort of how I was as a restaurant consultant. If you paid me another $1, I was like, I start 2 weeks. So it's been great to have this. I've not looked back for 7 years. I've not looked sideways for 7 years. I love this. It ticks all my boxes. And it really, gosh, I wish EverWash started 20 years earlier so I could have been doing this.
So I got to ask 2 questions. How many states have you been to? We talk about this all the time. Yeah. How many are left, I guess?
11 are left. EverWash is in every state in the United States.
And Guam. Don't forget Guam.
Alaska, Hawaii, and Guam. We're not in Puerto Rico, right? So
we're not.
That's the only thing we're missing. I think we need to hit
Get Bad Bunny on the line.
Yeah, right. But I'm only missing 11 right now, and Alaska, Hawaii are part of that. So 9 in the continental United States.
So you have to go to Brian and Mike, our sales team, and tell them, hey, you need to target these states. We're a little late in these states. So.
No doubt.
If I could leave here when I retire someday, then you've hit all 50. I would have been a successful.
No doubt. No doubt.
Worker.
It's funny that I honestly do have a map at home. Mm-hmm. It's like a little 8x10 letter size map, and I cross off every state that I've been to. It's kind of important to me. I think it's cool. Mm-hmm. I can remember when, a couple of years back when we were officially in every single state as EverWash.
Yeah.
And I think that's a pretty cool achievement.
This is a kind of an innocuous question, but I got to ask now. We're talking about memberships and all your sales background. How many memberships do you think you've actually sold in those? That's a great question. In those 39 states, because you've probably visited since I've been here, and this is conservative 4 years. You've probably visited 250 car washes since I've been here.
Yeah, I can remember there were years where I spent 90 nights in a hotel, 3 months, and there's been a lot. I think my ultimate success measurement, honestly, to answer your question in a roundabout way, is when I don't have to pitch a single car at a car wash that I'm training at. My goal is to develop the people there to do it, right? Mm-hmm. I don't want to leave and then have them start to try it. So there's been thousands and thousands. I love it. And I can remember I'd never sold anything before I came to EverWash. So I was afraid I don't want to sell a widget and then that goes away and I got to sell a different widget, but I love this. I love doing it. So to me, it's just so natural that, there's been thousands. I should sit back and try and think about that sometime.
Well, we could probably pull it from the system, actually.
You can pull some data. Maybe that's the next data drip.
Next data drip.
Tracking where Sean has been.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
How many memberships
we're in the world of Sean Pashley.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm trying to think about my best day. I think my best day was in the 60s at a launch. I know that Scott Kaplan is and a guy named Christian that I trained who's up in Long Island. Two best salespeople I've ever been around. They could sell literally iced Eskimos. They are the greatest that I've seen. And again, it's how natural they do it. They love the product. They're natural at it. And that's the biggest thing for me, I think, is that I don't consider it selling. I know they're going to be happier. I know the members are going to be 12, 15% happier than single wash customers. I know that they're going to get a shot of dopamine every time they wash their car. I know this is all good stuff. So I'm not selling reverse mortgages, right? Not to knock any reverse mortgage salespeople.
That's awesome. Now, Sean, thanks for really taking a deep dive into your background and what gets you up in the morning, what's kind of ticking up here when you're on site. But the point of At the Wash, this new segment that we're launching right now, is to get the boots on the ground, in the trenches kind of perspective. So, we're looking for some real examples, real tweaks, some real results that you've seen. So, Sean, what's a story or two that you've seen lately at the wash that you want to share with our audience today?
Yeah, I think it's more thematic. I think right now we see when push comes to shove, people go to where they feel their strength is, right? In the restaurant industry, there were bar managers, kitchen managers, floor managers. So if you came up from one of those areas, when it got busy, you went to where your strength was, maybe behind the bar in the kitchen, where your strength was. So I think we see that a lot in the car wash industry. And that version is either if you're in the car wash sales, you're out there helping sell memberships. If you're into the car wash functions, you're watching equipment. Some people just are bean counters and they like to watch what's going on. So I think that the biggest thing I'm seeing right now with this peak weather, optimum weather that we're seeing in the Northeast is that owners sort of going to both sides. Some owners, many owners going boom to the edges, which are over here. It's like, hey, we're selling really well. Let me think about, what a member's paying per car to wash their car. And it's just, you're not thinking about that in the summer when the money's going in the bank and you don't have as many members. And then the other side, which I think is more common to see, which is wash owners saying, wow, it's busy. This is great. The money's great. We're selling some memberships. Awesome. Have at it, guys. I'm out of here. Do great. Right. And really, this is the time. This is our Super Bowl. This is the time to be the guy, Johnny on the spot, cleaning the lot, to be supporting your staff, buying the donuts and coffee in the morning, sending the pizzas in, meeting customers and guests, customers and members rather. It's the time to be at the car wash, making improvements, making sure it looks amazing, making sure you're converting memberships at the right clip. So it's not too late. As a matter of fact, no matter what you did to prepare or not prepare, now's the time to be in the trenches making it happen.
Right. I mean, this is set up for, our next Super Bowl pollen season, right?
We talked about it. We talked about it last month.
Exactly.
Coming into the busy season. What other incentives, though? I know you were big, and on incentivizing thing. You bring it to me all the time. Why don't we do A, B, or C here? Any other incentives an owner can do, from your opinion? Not just donuts, pizza, lunch. And you mentioned earlier they get commission on every sale, but what really gets their attention?
Yeah, I think it's commission, bonus, competition, right? So you need commission, which we do. It's a $5 commission for membership sales. And then you need a bonus, right? So when you hit a certain goal, there should be an overarching bonus, right? Like, let's think about a manager who maybe doesn't sell as much. You want him to be bonused on overall success. So he's not thinking about me versus the other employees, right? And when we hit a goal, let everybody win. Hey guys, when we get to our first tier of 1,000 members, we're going to have a pizza party. We're going to do this. I'm going to buy this. We're going to do this. You make it fun. And it doesn't always have to be money, right? It could be experiential, just like our industry is. It's experiential, right? So just doing things for people, I think that's really important. And then setting other goals, right? That the rest of the team can be involved in. Not everyone can sell membership, but everyone can advise members and customers alike to go and review you on Google, right? So set goals for Google reviews and that sort of thing. I see a lot of people on that note, hey, if they mention your name, I'm going to bonus you. That's not always great because that's really pushy. Oh, and make sure you use my name, right? Some people may not do that. So just make it a team goal. Hey, let's get our Google reviews up. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's compete against the local car wash down the road that I think is doing this much. Let's do that, right?
Well, follow-up question. You had mentioned this. Everyone doesn't sell. Everyone's not comfortable selling, and everyone can sell. What do you recommend? I know you've done a lot of consulting with some of our washes to hire salespeople. What is that one or two traits that they should look for when they're hiring somebody that's their frontline guy? And we always joke, and I don't know, I've never had this discussion with you, but I always tell owners, your sales rep, your full-time sales rep should be your highest paid employee.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. I think at our car wash, EverWash Unlimited, we do, a separate pay for towel dryers and then the salespeople. To me, your lead salesperson is on the level of the store manager, right? They should be peers, right? They should be working together. But I think when you're looking for a salesperson, I once made a guy a bet up in North Jersey and said, yeah, I can't hire anybody. Well, how much time did you spend on it this week? None, but next week I'm going to. All right, so you're telling me your number one issue is that you can't find a salesperson, but you spend zero time on it. So I said, I bet I can come up there and we can find one today. About 45 minutes in, we went to 3 different places. I think we went to McDonald's, some local diner, and then we went to Wendy's. As we're walking into Wendy's, we could hear an employee saying, "Hey, it's a great day to be at Wendy's. What can I get started for you?" And I just walked up to the counter and said, "Oh, what's that guy? I forget. Is that Bob?" They're like, "Oh no, that's Rick." "That's right, Rick, old friend of mine. Can I talk to Rick?" Don't do that to other car washes. And I wasn't looking to poach him. I was looking to borrow him and add some extra time on. And we hired him. We hired him on the spot, and he went on to have great success. So I think we can train skills. We can't train personality. I can train somebody to sell as long as they've got an outgoing personality. I can train them on the script and they can get better. Again, if I can train a woman who cursed me out in Portuguese and English and didn't want to do it, if I can train her to sell bilingual, we can train anybody. We can write that on a piece of paper and say, do these things.
What did she call you, by the way?
I'm not sure. My wife is part Brazilian and they speak Portuguese, but I did not pick much up. So,
Chris, you're a big fan of kind of like personality testing when it comes to hiring. So it's kind of funny.
An extreme fan, some would say.
It's kind of funny to hear it from Sean, because we think of those things as like high level corporate executive America type tactics to getting the right people in. But I think people skills, it's from the top to the bottom and everywhere in the middle. So looking for personality as opposed to skill, I think is a huge recommendation when it comes to hiring.
Yeah, it's not just corporate. It's not just that. Make sure the right person's in the right seat. That's with every business, especially those people greeting your customers.
Right, they're your ambassador out there.
Yeah.
So I can't train them to be an outgoing person. I can't train them with desire. Like I want somebody who's money motivated. Yeah. Like I want someone who understands if I sell 100 memberships, that's $500. Think about what I can do with that money.
Sean, one of the things that you helped me put together that we've launched recently is our Spotify Wrapped for attendants. It's a monthly recap email that goes out to our attendants that kind of to the competitive, the competition perspective that you shared. It does share where they are ranked both in their state and in the EverWash network. So a little bit of extra incentive in it. And it's interesting because since we started sending these monthly recap emails, we have seen engagements kind of come up and folks are kind of saying like, it's funny. They ask like, well, what out of how many people am I ranked in the state? It is really a motivator. They want to know where they rank and where they kind of, stack up against everyone else.
Yeah. The weather's been wonderful, as you said, for us in the last few weeks, but I'm telling you, I watch those attendance sales numbers every Monday. Yeah. Since that was launched about 2 weeks after that went, they've been ticking up. Usually there's some variables in there, weather and other things, but it's been a constant growth since then. And we want, to your earlier points, we want to continue this momentum. Like right now is the playoffs. Think of it like that in the NFL. We want to get to that Super Bowl. And I'm sorry, I used the wrong sport because it's not opening day. You did the opening day pollen baseball.
That's
baseball
right.
video.
Yeah,
so we'll go with that.
Yep.
It's spring training right now. We're gonna go spring training.
That's right.
Yep. That was a fun one.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that I think that every competition makes people thrive, right? Competition, inner location competition. I used to, when I was running the Qdobas, which is a great place. I love it. I would make up numbers for Chipotle and say, hey, Chipotle's doing these customer review scores, their average throughput, and we would measure that, how quick we can make a burrito from cash register until mouth. Chipotle's doing these numbers. So look up the numbers for your local competition. Do the best. Start with their Google review. Like, hey, we're way better than those guys. How is our Google review not matching? Because we're not telling people, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that's fun.
This podcast brought to you by Qdoba.
Yes. Your next segment by Chipotle.
So, Sean, obviously, really great perspective on attendance and training, and what are some things that you're going to bring to the table as we move forward with our At the Wash? What are some things people can expect you to share as we move forward with the segment?
I think that there's going to be real life stuff. We're not going to put any fluff out there. We don't need it. There's enough great stuff to cover. And especially now that we have EverWash Unlimited, we live this, right? We live it at a level we didn't. We have an unbelievable conversion. Our low end conversion is 40%, right? If my people are converting 20%, I'm having a conversation with them. And it's not bad. It's just, hey, we're better than this, right? This is not our goal. So I think we're going to bring even better real life perspectives, tools to put in that tool belt. I think that's what I've always tried to bring in my role, and I think that's what we're going to bring here. Is just fill your utility belt with tools that you can break out when you need them.
Even Batman will be impressed with the utility belt on these attendants, right?
That's right. Exactly.
Chris, anything you wanted to add?
No, I'm looking forward to this as we go forward. I always love Sean's reporting from the field, and I think we're going to get some really good stories from owners, operators, and things that they've done based on your recommendations, of course.
Right. Yeah, I think it's important, and I think it's good. And then I think about the way that we bring it all together, because we're not just helping with that. We've got the call center. We've got things that you're doing with sort of digital marketing and the way you sort of bring all this together. Why don't you sort of tell us how that ties in?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it starts with the attendant and getting someone sold properly and excited. But, on the back end, life cycle marketing is key to, building that LTV. A great experience can keep somebody happy for a week, 2 weeks, a month, but it's what we continue to provide. That's why we send emails, and that first 2 months that they're a member, we keep reminding them, here's the value you're getting. Here's the amount of money that you're saving. Here are the health benefits, the hygienic benefits to keeping your car clean. If you're someone who drives around with your pet, why it's good to have your car clean if you're taking your pet around on their walks, right? So we're really trying to engage with people where we're trying to tug at the heartstrings. In the same way you're doing that with attendants, finding ways to motivate them. We do that on the back end with the members. So it really is this holistic process. And to shamelessly plug EverWash on the EverWash podcast, that is really our differentiator. It's how we have, a different team, a different group of people touching and consulting and influencing every stage of your membership program's life, from the time you launch, implement, then launch, and then grow to being a mature wash. So it's pretty cool what we do here.
Yeah, I dare you to find another company that cares as much as we do. Like, if not for ego alone, right? We want to win. Talk about competition. There's room for everybody in this, but we want to be great at this.
Well, I think it's important. We spend a lot of time on your past, and ego is great, and we all have egos, but I think you're taking a new bite out of what we do started this month. I'd be remiss if we didn't spend 2 minutes on the partner growth stuff now. Now you're encompassing everything that you've done. And it's not that we're telling you anything new. We're launching formal partner growth initiatives, and Sean's a key role in that. He's going to take a lead on that with Frank. But I am so excited about that. I see a renewed energy. Now you're able to take what you've learned, what you've always done, and go directly to that car wash owner. But not just ones you're launching. Ones have been on the platform for 5 years. So I'm excited about that. I hope you're as excited as I am, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that, and this gets out the car wash owners.
Big call out.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I think I've spent a lot of time doing my role and then building out EverWash Unlimited. We've spent a lot of time over the last year and a half. Now that that's a growing company in its own right, I get to move into this growth role and split my time between bringing people on and then bringing car wash partners on and then going back and revisiting with them and getting them back into the growth phase. So
yeah, it's
awesome.
It's the evolution of what you do. Mm-hmm. And to me, this is the final not the final chapter, but this is the final piece of that puzzle for a car wash owner.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's great.
So Sean, again, thank you so much for your time and your participation, your help in creating this new segment. And we really look forward to hearing from you, each month, whether it's stories from a launch or stories from a mature wash that your help bringing to the next level. You're a great storyteller, so we can't wait to share that with our audience month after month here. So thanks again for being part of it.
My pleasure. Sir. Thanks, everybody.
Cool. Yeah, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you, gents. Thank
you
much.
Cheers. All right, guys. Well, keep it locked here on Members Only, the EverWash podcast. We'll be right back with yet another new segment. This one's called Data Drip. All right, guys, welcome back to the show. We've got yet another new segment to launch today, and it's called Data Drip. Each segment, we're going to break down one piece of data from across the EverWash platform that operators should be thinking about more. This month, we're talking about family plans. A family plan is simple. It's a recurring monthly discount on any additional vehicle that a member adds after their primary membership. So, for example, I have a car wash membership. I want to add another vehicle onto the account for my wife. The wash will automatically provide a recurring discount of anywhere between 10 or 50% month over month to help make a stickier member and get extra value. So, for members, it's really incredibly easy to take advantage of this. They can simply use the EverWash app to add a vehicle right from there. The discount is clearly articulated and presented right there on the screen. But as we talked about earlier in the show, we're able to sell this now through the Attendant app, which is a huge advancement for us and makes everyone's lives a little bit easier. But the thing that I love to talk about when it comes to family plan discount and really going after adding memberships to existing accounts is there's no cost of acquisition.
No.
There's no marketing expense. It is literally just providing a simple message to your current customer base and saying, hey, it's really easy for you to simply add a membership right from the app or now on site.
And I think Jane will lay out exactly why that's important and the simplicity of it, like you said. I'm not going to get into it because we're going to let Jane do the talking, but she makes some good points in the 2-minute segment here.
Yeah. So without further ado, we're going to kick it over to Jane Lee, who is EverWash's data analyst, and she's going to take a deep dive into why family plan matters and why it's something we should all be thinking about. Take it away, Jane.
Thanks, Max. So yeah, one of the biggest benefits of the family plan discount is that it generates another income stream with no additional administrative efforts or acquisition costs. So like Max mentioned, these can be redeemed by members on their own via the EverWash app or on site with an attendant. The promotion also carries low risk in terms of impacting the customer lifetime value, ensuring the profitability of customers remains stable. A great example of this is at Tunnels. Our family plan members perform as well, if not slightly better, than additional vehicles at locations that don't offer the family plan discount. So they stay on about 10 and a half months, generating $282 compared to 9 months and $262. At IBAs, the family plan members stay on about 10 months, generating $210 compared to 7 months and $159 in revenue at locations without the discount. Additionally, I wanted to add that multi-membership accounts create more loyal customers than single memberships as they see the value in keeping all of their vehicles enrolled. So at Tunnels, it's about 6 months longer than single memberships with 15 and a half months and $490 in revenue compared to 9 months and $301. That's almost a $200 increase, a large increase in revenue per member by simply offering an easy way for members to add and manage multiple vehicles on their account. At IBAs, the primary membership on the account stays about 13 months, generating $337 compared to 9 months and $243. As you can see, offering the family plan option helps contribute revenue and overall strengthens the stickiness of members enrolled. Max and Chris, knowing how well our multi-membership accounts perform, what are your thoughts on strategies for car wash operators looking to maximize their membership program?
Thanks a lot, Jane. Really appreciate that insight. Chris, what stood out to you from that little data drip?
Well, what stood out for me, Max, is we have homework. That caught me off guard. I know you guys re-recorded this morning. Thanks for the homework, Jane. But what really stood out to me was, again, we talked about it before, the no cost of acquisition and the additional revenue it can generate for literally offering something so simple as a family plan membership. We really encourage it. We really push it during implementation and onboarding. We're trying to provide data for operators to make data-driven decisions and see the benefits of it. To me, it's a no-brainer.
I think one of the things that Jane kind of mentioned in there that's worth diving a little bit deeper into is the idea of perceived risk versus actual risk. Mm-hmm. And, kind of to your point, I'm sure in your conversations with wash operators, there's a lot of perceived risk.
Yes. How
do we as consultants in the car wash space address that and help walk people off of, the metaphorical ledge?
Yeah, the usage, which Jane didn't get into here, but the usage for family plan members is significantly lower than the main membership plan. So it's not a one-to-one look. The main member may be washing 4 times, but the family member may be washing on average 2.5. So yes, is there more potential wear and tear? Yes, you could say that, but we're bringing in additional revenue and additional members to your platform I can't get past the no acquisition cost.
Right.
You're not marketing to them. It's a built-in, it's organic growth, and they stay longer. The data shows that main members and family plan members stay longer. And that to me brings the value. It's not about the wear and tear or the cost. It's about driving additional revenue.
Yeah, the stickiness is it's hard to overlook, and when Jane is sharing, we're looking at around 6 months of additional, lifetime for a member when they have more than one car on their account. That's huge. And then you add in the $200 of additional average value on top of that. It really is a no-brainer.
I mean, it's between 40 and 50% additional revenue.
Yeah.
And again, the stickiness, that 15 months versus 10, that should jump off the page. What I would recommend, if you have any further questions, reach out to the sales team at EverWash or your account manager. We can make recommendations, best practices. If you called me, Max, I'd say be in that 25% range. That seems to be the sweet spot where you're generating enough revenue to support the additional members coming on your program.
That's it. Cool. Anything else you want to add there, Chris?
No, good.
Cool. Right on. Well, that does it for our first edition of Data Drip. Thanks again to Jane for putting that presentation together. You can look forward to more Data Drip from members only the EverWash podcasts each and every month. We're always going to have something to uncover, a little bit of a tidbit to share. So keep it locked here. We'll be right back. We'll be coming back with our wash operator interview of the episode. We've got a great conversation upcoming with Russ Picard over in Rhode Island. So keep it locked here on Members Only, the EverWash podcast. All right, everybody, welcome back to the EverWash podcast. This is episode 2 of Members Only, and we're here with this month's Wash Partner interview. This month, we have a really special interview lined up. We have on the line, live here in studio, we have Russ Picard from Executive Auto Wash in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. Russ has been a long-time wash partner with EverWash. He's done a lot of growth here with us on the platform. He's participated in our Master Series webinar where we tried to share his story with some other wash operators to, encourage them, let them see that anything is possible when you follow the playbook, right? So, Russ, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate you being on the show.
Yeah, great to be here. Thanks for asking me to get here, Max and Chris. So, yeah, have been a great ride with EverWash. So I hear you have some questions for me today.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, let's start with a little bit more about your wash. Tell us a little bit about your operation, how you guys are set up, a little bit about your town, your clientele.
Well, the place was built back in 1986 by my father. I took it over in 99. It's an acre property with 5 self-service bays, 12 self-service vacuums, 115-foot hybrid tunnel, cloths and high pressure. It's kind of a mill town, a lot of high rises in the area, but there's a lot of good rooftops in the surrounding areas. So, we'd struggled before with stuff, and now that with having EverWash as our partner and really pushing the memberships, we've been able to continue our growth, and business has been booming and continues to grow every day.
We love to hear that. Business is booming. So, we had you on the Master Series webinar where a lot of the conversation revolved around how to really provide value to your members and stand out from the competition. Wanted to ask if anything has changed since we had that conversation, if you've put anything new in place or, got anything new going on.
I heard this phrase, and then I said, hey, I'm going to adopt this to my employees because, working with customers is always, sometimes difficult, and sometimes the employees don't exactly know what to respond and how to respond. So we adopted the happy to help, okay? Because you can't say happy to help without smiling on your face.
Right.
So no matter who comes through the door, our guys just say happy to help, no matter how this customer is acting and whatnot. So I basically empowered them to be able to take on a lot more and be able to resolve a lot of the, any questions or any problems that arise, on demand right there and forward, versus having to go through me and take care of this.
Right.
That's one of the things I've changed. We've also simplified, we have fewer promos, clearer packages, and my guys have stronger communication now. That being said, we've moved from that communication, moving from selling washes to building memberships.
Mm-hmm.
So really pushing that end of things. I really empowered them to really step their game up and really make this about, building relationships, building the memberships, and everything else will follow suit that it has so far.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, you're creating those special experiences for everybody as they kind of, enter your property, and, when you greet them with a smile and a happy face, they're probably going to walk away with the same kind of expression on theirs, right?
Of course. So, simplify things. We've also just, engaged our employees to say, oh, you have an issue with the app. What kind of wash you're looking for? Hey, here's the customer service card. Please call them. We'll send you on your way. So instead of staking the time and waiting 5-6 minutes trying to figure out what's going on, the line continues to grow. My employees get frustrated. So we've kind of simplified that to make it streamlined. So we get them in, get them out. We get the proper phone number so they can find out the customer service. If not, they come back and see us, and we can work one-on-one with them.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like you got a lot of things that have been working out really well for you. Anything that you've tried recently that you figured was maybe not the best idea, but you're glad you at least tried it? Anything not working out?
Realistically, some of my employees are over-explaining, the process as far as, the membership goes once you get the text. Some of the confusion comes into play that customers come in and go, well, why am I asking for my credit card information over again? So we've kind of put that in our process, stating that, follow the simple instructions once you get the text, and it will ask you for that information just to confirm that's you. So we've kind of put that into it. That was pretty much one of the problems that we ran into. That it's really the issue on hand, but everything else has been pretty smooth.
Hey, man, you can't complain about everything going pretty smooth, right?
No. Hey, Russ, it's Chris. I want to jump in here. Yeah. How's the winter been for your business?
Winter, well, you know what? Unfortunately, last year in January, my control system ceased to function for the first 9 days. So this year we were actually open because I did put a new control system in. And, January was pretty decent, not as good as last year. We had some snow in there. But now with this new snowstorm that comes through, we've been actively busy. I call it a controlled chaos of car washing every single day. So we start at 7:30 in the morning. We don't finish off till 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. Right. Even my hours have been later and later and later. So, controlled chaos.
I thought the membership was supposed to make your day shorter. The membership revenue.
Oh no! Our hours at 6:30 at night, and I always tell my guys that's going to be extra innings. So don't plan on getting out here right at 6:30 because we will be here 6:45 till 7 o'clock. Get the line down and keep everybody happy.
So it sounds like everything's going well this winter opposed to last winter. But how's the membership behavior at your location change during the winter? You see any? Does your average usage go up? I know the answer to that. But I'm teeing it up for you because.
Obviously, cars. Yeah, with the salt and the sand, obviously, in the melting, it's a rinse and repeat, good thing. So you wash today. By the time you get home tomorrow, it's back dirty again. So they wash it today and they're back here tomorrow. So you see the regulars come in, but you also see the people who are like, oh, the line's too long. I don't want to wait I don't want to wait in the line, even though it's 15 minutes from the road all the way through. And we're stacking, 45 cars. So it's a give and take, but people who are, vested in here, enjoy it, use it. And to your point, we went from maybe, 2 times a week to maybe 3.5 times a week based upon, the snow and the melt off and how much salt is out there and how dirty the car is. Because obviously no one likes a dirty car, especially when you're getting in and out and you have a black jacket on and now your black jacket's all white from all the salt.
Right.
So that's one of the It's one of the big marketing things that I don't even have to do. The car does it for me.
How many washes a day are you doing this year so far? The weather?
Right now, we're doing between 450 and 650 on any given day.
Nice.
Awesome. Hey, Russ, one of the things that you mentioned at the top, things that you've done is kind of redo your packaging, kind of streamline a couple things. an important conversation that's going on right now is just kind of the economic climate and pressures on the consumer. How are you thinking about pricing with the current economy and what consumers are willing to spend on services?
Well, I mean, most importantly, we want to make sure they have a value for what they're buying. And, we do have a lot of the bells and whistles. We've got the ceramic, we've got the carbonate, we've got the hot wax, we got the desalt. We put out a pretty decent vehicle. We just updated to our microfiber towels for our wipe down area for our customers, both self-serve and in the tunnel. So I forgot my train of thought, guys. Where was I?
Just, kind of how have you been sensitive to pricing with the current economic constraints on the consumer?
I mean, based upon that, obviously, I've seen the increase in the electric, water bill, sewer bill. I've increased in products, increased even, in minimum wage has gone up as well. So we've been slowly increasing our individual prices. And we had a price increase, I think, about 10 months ago. Mm-hmm. And really no real blowback on us at all. And we will be having another increase probably in March, April. And again, we've been pretty much setting our membership prices since, I think, almost day one. So, this will be just a little bit of adjustment. But people feel it and see it, but they find the value in what they're doing. And, we break it down to them in the fact that, we offer a $10 first month no matter what wash they get. And I always tell them, I said, you're beating the house. You're beating the house the first 5 months. If you average out what you're paying for those first 5 months, you only pay full price in the 6th month.
Right.
As kind of a kicker to say, hey, you're getting a great value for your first 5 months, so enjoy it. But people understand. They're doing well. I find that more people are coming aboard than we're losing. So that has to say something about yourself.
How have you, obviously you kind of mentioned how you're kind of pitching it, you're doing your $10 promo, you're really talking about value. Have you done anything like outward marketing to express the value that, you're really providing to the customers? Any, outreach that you're doing to the community to help get more people on the site?
We have an abundance of people that I deal with yearly. One of them is the Milk Fund, which provides food for underprivileged families in this area, and we do a big promo for them. And I probably will give away about $10,000 worth of car washes that they do for their big raffles and their giveaways and their promotions. I also do something with the Autumn Fest over here too. Again, and a lot of local charities come to see me, whether it be the police department for maybe a laughing comedy show, or their stuffed animals and stuff. So I do a lot of community involvement with that, as well as the local football, local baseball, and get a lot of people on the radio. I do a radio spot all the time for the local high schools as well, and football games and so forth. So we get a lot of good feedback from the radio stations. A lot of people come in and they'll say, I'm here because you do this. You do this charity, you do this charity, you do this charity. So it makes me feel good, and I'm happy to help and give back to the community. So it's been a very positive, very, very positive the last 3 years, because people are amazed at what I'm giving away to them, and they're like, wow. I'm like, no, it's going to a good thing. So I want you to benefit from it.
That's awesome.
And it works both ways.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that's a great, bit of advice that, anyone listening to the show could really, take away from this is when you're in a smaller community, when you're in a market, a tighter knit area, community involvement goes such a long way. And it really helps show that you're not just a business, you're a person and a community member. So I really applaud you for those efforts, Russ. That's awesome.
Yeah, that is. And that's very prevalent, Max and Russ, in this industry. I hear that a lot. And, I can hear it in your voice, Russ, and other owners. It's not because you have to do it. It's because you want to do it. It's the right thing to do. And it helps the business, sure, but it also helps the community. And that's the most important thing.
Yes. We have got the North Smithfield Police Department involved around here, Blackstone Police Department, Bellingham, Millville, Woonsocket PD, as well as their inspectors and city, DMV, DPW and stuff. So they all are involved. They know what I'm about. And when they have something important that they want to promote, they come see me. And, it's just been a yearly thing. They come out, oh, yeah, great, text me, let's get things going. We'll send it out the door. Same thing, we do some golf charities as well. And I give away, the top foursome, 6-month platinums. And then, lower people get 3 months and 3 months. And then if there's 365 golfers there, I give them all, 3 months platinum washes. All they do is put down the code and they get to come down and enjoy it. So that's been a big hit to a lot of the charity golf tournaments that I do. People are really, really enjoy that. And that really gets your name out there.
Awesome.
Oh, no, it's been informative. I can't believe it's been 15 minutes almost already. Hey, Russ, you laid out a plan for your winter. You seem like you had a successful first 2 months of the year. What advice would you give other operators for the next 90 days heading into the spring?
Well, spring's going to be here around the corner, and if we can survive through the winter, which is always the controlled chaos, we're going to be in the controlled chaos with the pollen, hopefully. So, I'm always about maintenance. I'm always thinking about 2-3 months ahead of time. I'm always thinking about what's going to happen, where can I be, and how's my business going to be, where are my guys going to be. So, the best thing is that, don't get short-sighted. I'm making money today. Don't think like that. Think like, hey, what's tomorrow? What's tomorrow going to bring? I always prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And I think every car wash owner should have that same motto as well, because you never know what that day is going to be, whether you're going to wash 50 cars or 600 cars. So always plan for the best. So you're there and you're ready to go.
That's awesome. Yep. Awesome advice. Hey, on the topic of controlled chaos, you still playing men's league hockey, Russ?
Unfortunately, I got the OLD. Old. That's what I am. That's what I have. So I got the OLD disease. So I'm actually going to be going in for a hip replacement, my right hip. So I haven't skated since last March, and my wife and daughter now reside down in Florida. So I'm actually going to have to go down there and get the PT going, set up the surgery, and then do post down there. So I'll be out of here for about maybe 8 weeks or 9 weeks until I can get back up here and continue my PT. But yeah, just the OLD gets you. All those fun things you did as a youth. Don't realize that it's going to come back to haunt you when you get older.
as we talk about hockey, Russ, Max and I were recording today during the U.S. Switzerland game.
Sweden.
Sweden. I'm sorry. So we have no updates on that. Do you know what the score is by chance?
No, I unfortunately have had to watch everything on replay. I've been putting in some long hours and trying to get this place nice and clean and in between on the rain days, So
Max, we're going to have to edit that out. I thought maybe we get an update there. So
yeah, right. Well, hopefully by the time this podcast publishes, we'll be USA gold medalists over here, right?
Let's hope. And well, as we're wrapping up, Russ, just know that Max took on the challenging sport, he advised me today, of sport that's probably more geared towards people our age, of pickleball.
Yeah. I'm participating in a pickleball tournament right after we're done recording. So wish me luck that the OLD doesn't get to me yet.
Yeah, be careful with that pickleball. That surface is very abrasive. It's tough,
Sure.
Skin a knee, skin an elbow, twist an ankle.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, man. Well, Russ, really want to thank you again for joining us on Members Only, the EverWash podcast. You're one of our favorite people to talk to. You're one of our true success stories, and would be happy to have you back on anytime.
Yeah, well, I'd like to finish with one little thing for you guys.
Yeah,
okay?
Go for it.
Something that I would like to say. If I've learned anything over the past year, it's the predictable growth beats flashy growth. Okay, memberships only work if you protect that experience. Okay, for us, the next 90 days are about tightening operations, and we're going to reduce churn and making sure every member visits reinforces their decision to join. If we do that, growth takes care of itself.
Great advice,
that's a statement I've made to my employees. And it's right there when they come in, when they turn the alarm off, to when they get in front of the cash register, when they go to the bathroom. I have it plastered. So it's something they read and understand, and it's something that hopefully will continue to get this membership to grow. So
amazing, Russ. Thank you again for joining us. Good luck with your hip, and if there's anything you need from us, you know where to reach me.
Yeah, well, when you find a couple pounds of 20s lying around, those are mine, okay?
No promises there, my friend. Have a good one,
All right,
man.
Max, Chris, Have
Thanks,
a great
Russ.
day. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, that was a great conversation with Russ, Chris. What are your takeaways from that?
Preparedness.
Yeah.
Loud and clear. He is prepared every day. He's prepared for 2 months ahead of time. He's ready for what comes at him, what's thrown at him, what happens at the wash. And that's all they can do. I mean, if you're ready, you're prepared, you can handle anything.
Following up with, we just had Sean Pashley. We did a lot of talking about attendance here. The way that Russ messages to his attendants loud and clear, he's a true leader.
Yes.
And I think that is what really stands out in his operation is he is the captain of that vessel and people will respond to that. And the proof is in the pudding with his membership growth and the success that he's seen over, the past couple of years and even more recently. So again, we want to really thank Russ for joining. Fantastic interview. Hoping to bring our audience more fantastic interviews like that each and every episode moving forward here. So
one thing real quick
on
Russ, please, I highly recommend if you're a wash operator, go to the EverWash YouTube page, find the episode of the Master Series that Russ was our guest speaker in that one. And literally, I still get people making comments, and that was almost 2 years ago that he did that. And he's reached out. He's been a great advocate for us and car wash owners in general to help them build membership. And Master Series, as you know, Max, it was created by Jerry Goldstein, one of the founding partners at EverWash, but it's a really good series. Russ brought some good insights like he did today. And I just think if you have 15, 20 minutes, it's worth a watch.
It really was the precursor to this happening.
Exactly.
I think that was one of the first conversations where we're like, wow, there's something we can really offer people here.
Yeah. Plus we figured we had to do something.
Yeah.
So
awesome. Well, thanks again to Russ. Keep it locked here on Members Only, the EverWash podcast. We'll be back for our final segment of the day, and that's Suds and Stuff. See you soon. All right, welcome back, everybody, to our final segment of episode 2 of Members Only, the EverWash podcast. It's time for Suds and Stuff, Chris. Our open-ended, a little bit of everything conversation time.
I don't want to say my favorite segment, but it's my favorite segment.
So, we kind of talked about it at the top. We teased how EverWash will be at the Southwest Car Wash show in Fort Worth coming up at the end of February. There's a good chance this episode will be published either right before that comes out or during the show, but it made me want to bring up a topic that I love, and that's wild trade show stories. We all have them when you work in an industry like this.
So you said favorite on the rundown. Now it's wild.
Well, for me, favorite and wild are synonymous.
That is true. But make sure you come visit us, booth 116.
Booth 116.
Anybody is going to be in Fort Worth. We look forward to it, and we just want to connect.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. So I'll start with my favorite story from a trade show. Talking about Fort Worth and the Southwest show, there was this one time where we took some clients out to Del Frisco's, classic steakhouse right there. When you're in Texas, you got to get steak, right?
Got to get steak.
So we sit down and I'm looking over the menu, and this is like one of my first trade shows traveling with EverWash. So I didn't want to order anything too crazy, right? But I'm scanning. Actually, it was Scott Kaplan, who was with us at the dinner, and he's like, "Max, what are you eyeing up?" And I kind of like tongue in cheek was like, "Well, that tomahawk at the top looks pretty good to me, but I'm a little too rich for my blood." He's like, "Order it, dude. Order it. What are you doing?" I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Go ahead, go get it. We'll help you out." Tomahawk comes out. Thing is massive, however many ounces it is. And, everyone's like, go for it. I'm like, what? No one's going to grab it? Like, no, we'll see how far you can get on your own. 15 minutes later, that thing was just a bone on a plate. Nothing else.
50 plus ounces.
Yeah,
I understand there's
a bone.
No.
Probably more like 32 ounces.
That's a lot of meat.
It's a lot. I was sweating for a couple of
days.
Yeah, it wasn't the most pleasant day in the booth for me the following day.
I don't know how you house that much steak in 15 minutes.
Well, what's embarrassing is this isn't even my only steak at a trade show story that I have for us tonight. The other story I have is at the NRCC over in Atlantic City. A couple of years in a row, we were lucky enough to share the convention center with my favorite show of the year, and that's the Northeast Regional Pizza and Pasta Convention, where, you know, they're selling pizza ovens and mozzarella stick fryers and pretty much anything you could imagine. As two Italian Americans, you can only imagine how excited that gets me.
Anything they sell in a pizza place.
Anything
basically.
they sell at a pizza place, yeah, they sell it there, and we devised this incredible 007, you know, Mission Impossible-esque plan to get a couple of people from our booth and some of our friends in the industry to kind of like shimmy through those dividers that split the halls in half. Yes. And we ended up sneaking our way into the pizza and pasta convention hall, and it's like, you know, you walk in and everything's bright, everything's shiny, and you want to touch everything. And
how'd it smell?
Oh my God. That was the greatest smell of my life. It was like being in my Italian grandmother's kitchen times 30. You know, imagine it in a convention hall, you know, kitchen.
Of grandmothers.
Exactly. So we're walking around and I catch a whiff of this like cilantro lime steak. I couldn't even see it. I knew exactly what it was. And there was some celebrity chef, I don't know exactly who it was, that was cooking up some stuff. And I'm just like, whoa, steak. And I just walk right up and I grab a piece, put it in my mouth, like, this is really good. And lo and behold, Sean Pashley, who, imagine him kind of shimmying through the divider, wasn't the most nondescript moment, but he comes and he taps his shoulders like, hey, Max, you realize there's a line, right, for this. And the celebrity chef is looking at me, and I turn to my right and see a line of about 150 angry people who've been waiting probably hours to get a piece of the steak. And I'm just here with my mouth full like, oh my God, I'm sorry. And I run away.
How was the steak?
It was so good.
So you don't care that you cut in front of 100
people? No, I mean, look, no regrets. There's no regrets left. Was it as good as the tomahawk? No, definitely not. But was it really good for trade show steak when you had no idea what you were walking into? It was incredible.
It was the best trade show on the floor steak in the U.S.
The best I've ever had, that's for sure.
I've yet to do that. So you asked me this question a few days ago, and we knew, you know, just so everybody knows, we do discuss what we're going to talk about beforehand. So actually, I have two. From my previous life. I've been the old guy at EverWash, like the calming influence, the mature guy, which is frightening on many levels, as you know. But I have two stories from my old job. One is fun. One's really cool and one's questionable. So
what are we getting first?
We're getting the really cool one. I was in Seattle. Where was I? I was in San Diego. This was in San Diego. The year after, 2 years after the U.S. women's national soccer team beat China in '99.
Right.
So we're standing there. This was an insurance. This was the company, I don't want to say any names, but the company who sponsored the U.S. soccer program.
Right.
They brought in the U.S. women's, like 6 of the U.S. women's national team. They were from me to that wall right there. They were
absolute legends.
12 feet away. And Julie Foudy, Brandy Chastain, Mia Hamm. It was everybody. They had their gold medals, so we got to try on. We got pictures with the gold medals. That was pretty cool. But, you know, Brandy Chastain was infamous for what happened at the game. And just say, I had to ask. That's all I'm going to say. And I did not get the response I thought I was going to get. So I never got an answer, but I got a response. That's all I'll say.
The response says it all.
Yeah. No, it wasn't that bad. She goes, oh, like I've never heard that before. And I knew. But
for anyone asking what happened, just Google it on YouTube or you look it up and you'll see a nice video.
Yeah. Google penalty shots, 1999 Women's World Cup. Second story. This was a good one. So New Orleans, in the industry I used to be in, every third year, like clockwork, they'd have the big conference.
It's a dangerous town for a conference.
It is a dangerous town for somebody in their mid-30s. So we were there, and actually a current EverWash employee was with me. So we took customers out, had a nice dinner, nothing fancy, just, you know, crawfish, things like that. And we went to Bourbon Street. Well, we walk in this bar, and it was light as the studio out. It was around 7:10. Next thing I know, the night's going, we're going, and if my wife hears this, I think I did tell her a story, though. I know I never told my children.
If not, like and subscribe, and you'll get the story yourself.
Yeah, so about 12 hours later, I look outside, and it's light again. It was 7 a.m. And it was one of those nights where you couldn't get drunk. It was just a fun night. So we were in that bar for almost 12 hours. Lo and behold, I'm walking back to the hotel and I'm like, I have to meet customers in the lobby at 8 a.m. for breakfast.
So you got less than an hour. Right?
So I got less than an hour. That includes walking back. And I'm going to give everybody a little trade show tip regarding the industry. Always get a room with 2 beds. Before you go out for the night before, take the clothes you're going to wear the next day and lay them out because you never know when you're going to get home.
Right.
So I get home around 7:40 by the time, everything gone back up in the room. And I just lay down, face down. Phone rings at 8:05. I was out. And it is the client. It was 2 ladies and another coworker I had to meet. So I said, I will be down in 2 minutes. Still had the clothes on from the night before, changed in 12 seconds, brushed my teeth, washed my face, walked down. My hair was still perfect, what I had back then. There was a little more back then. That's all I want to say. Because I was face down on the bed. And we went to a world famous breakfast place, Brennan's in New Orleans. It's outside. Mm-hmm. So we're in the bar for 12 hours. I slept for 25 minutes and it's about 90% humidity at this point, 8 in the morning.
What month is this?
This was in May in New Orleans.
Literally the worst time.
The worst time. Sitting outside with the sun beating on me. It was like there was a fog of glass in front of me. They could have called me every name. I had no clue what anybody was saying. I sat there, and it's not because I was hungover. It's because I didn't sleep.
Oh my gosh.
That's the day I told you I slept behind the booth for 3 hours.
You got to do what you got to do, man.
The trade show, my boss said, you don't look well. I said, yeah, my stomach's bothering me a little bit. He goes, go lay down. I said, I'm just going to sit behind the booth for a little bit. And then they woke me up when the show ended. Not my proudest moment, but
an incredible story.
It was a great night. Bands, and now if you've ever been to New Orleans, every bar has it's like Nashville. Every bar has live music, and it was just a fun night. Yeah,
it's on my bucket list. One of the cities that I have not been to, and it's definitely somewhere I would love to visit. As a fan of jazz music, actually, last night we bar around the corner from us did a Mardi Gras, New Orleans style thing. They had the West Philly Orchestra jazz band out there, so we were eating po' boys and chorizo sausage, listening to jazz. It was great.
I still, when I don't, I'm older now. I don't follow the calendar when Mardi Gras, but I heard him talking about it in the news last night. My mouth still waters a little bit when I hear it's Mardi Gras.
Hey, maybe we gotta get Sean launching a wash down there, and we'll all take a little trip.
There's a customer that wants him to come down to New Orleans. Great partner of ours. I don't think I'll let him go though.
We can take that one our own.
Yeah, I can do that one on my own.
Love it. Hey, we did a little bit of sports talk with Russ. Go USA hockey, go USA in the Olympics. We hope the best for all of our athletes out there competing in Italy. But Chris, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you your thoughts on your Steelers and the hiring of Mike McCarthy. It is weird. They are a franchise famous for hiring coaches in their prime or kind of relative unknowns who are kind of coming in
and comers
and keeping them for 20 years, arguably maybe 5 years too many time and time again. But what are your thoughts on Mike McCarthy?
I root for the logo. That's all I'm going to say. I wish him nothing but the best, but that one caught me off guard. My Steeler chat, my text groups, not happy. We were hoping for somebody young, but we finally got an offensive mind, so I have some hope there. And as you get older, Mike's actually the same age as I am. Max asked me earlier, he goes, are you looking for the next 20 years? I said, if he's there when he's 81, I think we have a problem.
Yeah, I'd say.
But I know you were going to wrap on that, but there's been some interesting news for the Eagles. So I'm going to ask you about your new offensive coordinator, that whole situation. But I'm more interested in the second part of the question. When I read that Jeff Stoutland left the organization after all he did. Yeah. And I hear how Kelsey and those guys talk about him, and it just seems like there's a little bit of a disconnect in the organization.
Yeah, it was just as shocking for us. So, for those of you who are not Philadelphia sports fans, we did demote our offensive coordinator from last season, Kevin Patullo. He ended up leaving to take a job with Miami as a passing game coordinator, and we hired the up and comer Sean Mannion, right? Who is a bit of an open book. You know, people seem to be excited about him, but he's shaken up the organization a little bit. And part of that is Jeff Stoutland, in my opinion, a potential Hall of Fame assistant position coach, our offensive line coach and running game coordinator since the Chip Kelly era. He's the only holdover from that time. And like you said, Kelsey loves him. Lane Johnson, he's credited for turning Mailata into a undrafted or 7th round pick into an all-pro. And he, something's going on in that building where they couldn't jive with each other.
How many Pro Bowlers has he coached? It's in the 30s, right?
I mean, it's unreal. It's unreal. When you look at the total number of Pro Bowls amassed, I mean, it's crazy what he's done. So, look, I'm excited for some new blood on the play calling side of things. Hope the best for Sean and his staff. But when literally the best that's ever done it at his position decides to walk out the door, that gives me pause.
That's a red flag.
That's a red
especially flag. 2 years removed from a 2,000-yard rusher.
Yeah, exactly.
So he knew what he was doing.
Yep, exactly. So we shall see. But in the meantime, we got pitchers and catchers, right?
Oh, love baseball.
Love baseball. So Chris, a former baseball player, he's got a lot of
not a lot of success in my rooting past as a Pirates fan, but I'm looking forward to it. That's all I can do.
Yeah,
with that team.
Yeah.
As we tease, can we do a tease for next month?
Yeah.
On the subs and suds.
Absolutely.
I want to talk about, Max and I always joke. We want to do a podcast because we're both from Pennsylvania. Oh, Max is from New Jersey, lives in Philly now, but I'm from Western Pennsylvania. Max is from East. We always joke and say, we're going to do an East versus West or East meets West podcast. I want to talk about the best sandwiches in both cities.
I got opinions.
That could be a 20-minute discussion.
Lock it in. We will be talking about Pat's first per Manny's.
Yes. Or Angelo's.
Or whoever, spoiler alert, the cheesesteak is not the best sandwich in Philadelphia. I'll leave it at that.
I do agree with you. I have my own favorite.
Oh.
We'll save it for next month.
Right on.
They were at your wedding, let's say that.
Yeah, we're on the same page. All right, guys. Well, that does it for this episode of Members Only, the EverWash podcast. This was episode 2.
Yes, this could be a long one. This could be 2 full podcasts. I promise they will not all be this long, but
we had a lot of great stories to tell. I really want to thank you, Chris, for being here with me today. Want to thank Sean for spending some time in the studio with us. Really looking forward to what he's going to bring to the table each and every month for us. I want to thank Jane for her data analysis and her time, and then of course our the true meat and potatoes of this interview, Russ, with his amazing insight. Appreciate your business, Russ. Appreciate your partnership and appreciate your time today. So we hope that all of you out there listening, whether it's on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or you're watching on YouTube, wherever it is you get your podcasts, we hope you've enjoyed this show and we hope you've been enjoying Members Only. It's been a really fun ride for us and really excited for where this takes us next.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to some clips from Fort Worth too.
Yeah. Next month we'll definitely have some interviews from the show floor. We'll give you a taste of what it was like to be in Fort Worth in case you weren't able to be there. And of course, we're going to bring you the latest and the greatest from EverWash and the industry as a whole. So on behalf of Chris and the EverWash family, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next month on Members Only, the EverWash podcast.
Thanks, Max.